Canoli Sasquatch here, coming at you with a new video and giving my opinion on the upcoming movie The Flash. Will it be a box office bomb or will it actually succeed? Let's get into it now. The Flash is coming out June 16th, so we got 3 weeks until the release of this movie. Starring Ezra Miller, lots of controversy there. It's got multiple Batmans. We already know Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton. Initially, with the reshoots of the movie, taking out Henry Cavill in this movie, adding in Supergirl, a constant mess trying to get this movie made. I'm hearing this movie is probably one of the most expensive, or if not the most expensive movie ever made. They're estimating the current budget at about $200 million online. Actually, I heard it's closer to $300 million. That's a $300 million budget without marketing. They are pushing Michael Keaton's Batman as nostalgia bait.
I'm Batman.
So honestly, I could care less about the Flash as a comic book character. Batman is the big selling point. I've talked to multiple people recently, and that's the only reason why they're going to see this movie is because of Michael Keaton coming back after so long. Yeah, it's cool that Ben Affleck's in there, I guess, as Batman. I know there's a lot of cameos in this movie. Way back when the first trailer for this movie came out, you saw the Batmobile, you saw the Batcave. Let's face it, you got very excited. I remember talking to people who grew up watching those movies, and they were like, yeah, okay, so for a second, put away Ezra Miller, put away the stupidity of what this movie is going to be based on the production hell that it went through and all the side stories with Ezra Miller, period, and all his controversy. Seeing the Batcave and the Batmobile, when it brought back memories and nostalgia of when you were a kid seeing that for the first time, how grandiose it was, how exciting it was to see it. So don't get me wrong. Michael Keaton is driving people back in. You can tell by the way they're advertising this movie, they are putting him at the forefront, and they have to. Because Ezra Miller is not saving this movie. He's not going to bring people to see this movie. He's not going to put asses in the seats because nobody cares about Ezra Miller. I'm sorry. His iteration of The Flash has been awful from the onset. Initially, you had Flash in the terrible Joss Whedon Justice League movie. And then, of course, you had him in the Snyder Cut version of the Justice League, the 4-hour cut, which I guess he was a little more utilized. But, again, a character that really nobody likes. And it's because of his portrayal of the Flash. Again, I know it's up to the directors and the writers, and I guess you could say it's not all his fault, but me personally, he is not the Flash. You're bringing Zod back, you're bringing in Supergirl in this movie, which they're going to have to explain how that happens. Early reviews of this movie is that she just learns how to use her powers pretty damn fast, unlike Henry Cavill had to do in The Man of Steel, where at least, even though that movie was bad, at least in that he kind of showed how he had to kind of learn how to fly, learn the abilities that he had over time. This movie, apparently Supergirl, who's played by Sasha Calle, who apparently, and again, this is all just speculation, this is what I've heard from early reviews, is that she just jumps right into being Supergirl. She just knows her abilities and starts using them right away, which, of course, today's Hollywood, why am I not surprised? The best parts of the trailers are when Michael Keaton steps in. Now, I know there's a lot of cameos that are supposed to be in this movie, potential people who were supposed to be maybe Superman at one point, and I'm fine with that. And another thing I'm hearing is that it basically follows the pattern of what No Way Home did for the Spider-Man movie that came out, when it brought Tobey Maguire back and it brought Andrew Garfield back for that nostalgia bait with all the villains, making very strong comparisons to that. If this movie succeeds somehow, they're already talking about bringing Ezra Miller back into a second Flash movie. The director came out yesterday and said, yeah, he's definitely our Flash. Nobody could do it as good as him. I think that's bullshit. But again, what else are they supposed to say? Obviously, Ezra Miller has some dirt on Hollywood. To have people who are still backing him up and pushing him at the forefront of this role, I get it. In the Hollywood sense, it's easier to just use what they have, especially if they see the movie as a success financially. Why recast him? James Gunn has already said that he wanted to reboot this whole DC universe anyway. Michael Keaton should be getting a massive paycheck for this movie after how many years? Another point of contention here is that people are not happy that they took Henry Cavill out. He did have a cameo, hence Supergirl pushed in. So they're going to have to do a good job of explaining that. I think if there is an initial push for it, it's going to be all in that first weekend. Here's the bottom line. Ezra Miller himself will bring this movie down. Everything I've heard so far is that he is obnoxious. He's annoying. I personally do not like him as an actor for this role. Personal feelings aside, whatever he's done, whatever. He's in the movies. Basically have to live with that. I'm not thrilled about it. Accept it and just move on. If this movie is any success at all, it's because of the idea of seeing Batman 1989 again after all this time. And I've heard that Michael Keaton's a badass. Now they have the actual technology to make that Batman and do things that we couldn't see him do back then. So I think he's the driving force here. Now, again, if you look at the box office numbers, $200 million to $300 million budget, this movie's got to make a ton of money to succeed. I just don't see it happening. Michael Keaton, enough of a reason for you to go see this movie. It is for me, and I'm very interested. I hope this movie's good. I just have no faith. I want to see if this director, Andres Muschietti, and I'm sorry if I butchered that name, is the director with the mishmash of everything that's going on. There's a lot of plot to almost 2.5 hour movie. And when you have articles like this, won't recast Ezra Miller as the Flash because nobody can do it as good as him. Is James Gunn going to make a sequel? Nobody knows what's going on because after this, you got Aquaman 2, which I think is going to be a nightmare. So in the DC recently, you've had a failed Black Adam movie, a failed Shazam movie. This movie will probably fail. And then you have Aquaman 2 to finish off the old DC universe. Say this movie turns a slight profit, just a slight profit. Is James Gunn really going to go ahead and proceed with a Flash 2 movie? Do you think he would? I don't know if he would. I mean, do you just wash your hands of the whole thing at that point and then hope for the best? Aquaman 2 is not going to succeed. It's going to be a bomb. Obviously, the whole Amber Heard thing. Jason Momoa is a little bit off his rocker, and then nobody cares about Aquaman 2 at this point. This DC universe is damaged. Some people are talking this movie is going to make $1.2 billion. Man, that's really on the high end. I just don't see it happening. Other projections have it at $800 million. You know, off a $300 million budget. Is that really a success? I don't know. I guess any profit is better than no profit. And Warner Brothers at this point is trying to turn anything they can into money. This is a mess. The DCU is a mess. I'm glad that it's almost over. I'm kind of torn on this because if the movie succeeds, it's because of a character that I grew up loving to watch and that Batman character for Michael Keaton. I don't know how this is going to play out. I will be at the movie theater. I will be doing a review on this channel for you. Thanks for sticking this one out, guys. Let me know what you think. Is The Flash going to profit? Do you see it making $1 billion or under $1 billion? Will it turn a profit at all? Are you going to see it because of Michael Keaton or any other character? Or are you actually going to see it for The Flash himself? Hit that like button. Leave a comment, even if you love The Flash or hate me or didn't like this video at all. Please leave comments below anyway. Hit that like button. Share the video out. This is going to be my new channel, by the way, the Cannoli Catalog, where all my pre-recorded stuff is going to be on. If you want to watch live streams from my Mischief Mayhem movie live streams on my main channel at Cannoli Sasquatch, please feel free. My co-host and I do an amazing job of breaking down movies, and you can catch us there. And also, once a month on Fridays, you can catch Mrs. Cannoli Sasquatch and I on the Cannoli Connection on the main channel, where we interview content creators and get to know them better. Again, thank you so much. I will see you later.